also be enough to boil 2 cups of water for about 5 or 6 minutes. So they actually last a really long time and put out a really nice cooking temperature.
How much are they? Where do you get them?
These are just brand new on the market. Some people are going to start carrying it. I believe they're going to be on the order form. I don't know if that's
so prices and things, I'll talk about that in the end.
yeah.
How about the little insert for your?
Yeah, the insert will be on the order form as well, and we've given some prices that make it advantageous versus, you know, buying it, because you guys are going to do a group kind of thing. It saves you some money there. So it'll be a good chance to get those at a good deal. But you can also set this. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just a question about the cedar. I thought cedar was kind of toxic. So is that one you'd have to burn outside?
You would have to burn anything that you did in this would have to be outside.
Okay.
Yeah, the Instafire would have to be outside. You know, anything that puts out that much flame. I mean, even with the butane and propane, you want to have some ventilation because it is burning up oxygen.
What about gelled alcohol or work in it? Not as many big to use.
Yeah, and you can use gelled alcohol, and I thought I had some here. Oh, there it is, yeah. So yeah, you can use gelled alcohol, and if you want to spacer something up, you can just take an empty tuna can and use that to spacer something up a little bit higher. You know, that might be a little bit too high, but so if you wanted to use a gel alcohol, you could do that. And then you can also use, you could spacer that up a little bit higher and use a solid fuel tablet. These are a hexamine fuel tablet. This is Esbit. They come in 4 or 5 different brands. Coughlin's makes one, but you just go ahead and set one of those on there, and then that will burn for about 10 minutes. So, but you can add them as you need to, or whatever you need to do as far as that. These are really small, compact. They kind of smell funny, but they work. And then you could also use an alcohol stove.
What about the toxic on the tablet? Is that toxic?
The tablets themselves, you know, I don't know. They're a little funky. You definitely need to use them outside. They're real popular amongst the backpacking crowd. And they can also be used as a fire starter, so they can be a dual purpose kind of thing.
Could you use the toilet paper and alcohol in that?
Yeah, you could.
That's what I think.
Yeah, you could make buddy burners with tuna cans. You know, pretty much anything. This is just a great pot stand. And then you have, you know, anything that's going to put out enough heat to cook, you can use it here. It's not designed to burn like twigs and sticks and actually build a fire. It doesn't have the airflow for that, because these paraffin-based fuels, if you give them too much air, then they need to be actually kept from the air a little bit for them to burn properly. So that's why it doesn't have a bunch of ventilation, because that was our main intention, was for them to work really well with those paraffin-based fuels. Now, if you're not afraid, the good thing about this is you don't have to have any fire-making seals. So you just take one of these paraffin-based fuels, put them in there, put a match to it, and you're cooking. But if you're not afraid of building a fire, then you can use the firebox. And I'm going to let my dad kind of explain the firebox.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to do this. I think he feels sorry for his dad. He wants to let him get some attention here. Anyway, I like to talk about emergency preparedness when I show the firebox. This is the firebox right here. The reason I like to talk about emergency preparedness is it folds down to a ½ inch. It only weighs 2 pounds, and it will fit in any 72-hour kit. It's small enough that you can put it in a 72-hour kit. You can put it into a backpack. The emergency, you grab your 72-hour kit, you take the stove with you. And you don't have to store fuel with a firebox. This firebox will burn anything that he just talked about. Any of these will work in the firebox. It was originally designed, I think, to burn wood. anywhere you take it, you're going to be able to find some wood, some twigs off trees or bark or things like this. And so you don't have to store fuel. But if you do store fuel, this would be an excellent thing to do. Now, I wanted to mention, I'm going to pull this apart here. You just pull it off. You open it up, the ash pan falls off into your hand, and that's all it takes to set one of these up. I sold one to...
Please hold it up, we can't see.
We're an emergency really occur. It can occur right at your own home. The power could go off for 4 or 5 days. You haven't got power. Take this outside and you can use it. You can use it out on your patio or out on your deck or just out in the backyard. You can use it anywhere. How about an automobile? It would be ideal to put one of those in the trunk of your automobile, wouldn't it? I was talking to a guy from Montana, and he says there's people in Montana that freeze to death because they have an accident out on the roads and they don't get any help. This, you could get enough heat that you could survive. So your automobile, you can have emergency. How about a motorcycle? Put it in the backpack of a motorcycle, or a four-wheeler, or a snowmobile. You get those out in the hills and something breaks down on them, you could be stuck there for a while. It becomes an emergency. I sold one of these to a farmer down in San Pete, and he goes out horseback riding up in the hills and everything. And he likes to, he doesn't like to really cook when he's out there doing that, so he takes a can of soup. He pops the lid off, puts there with the fire going in here, and he can be eating soup in 5 to 10 minutes. Because that's just down the low enough. This has adjustments on both sides. You can adjust it to any height that you may want. So, and they can be used not only for emergencies, but they can be used for fun. This last Easter, instead of putting a hot dog on a stick and roasting it over a fire, he roasted 4 hot dogs. He put the hot dogs on here, he turned them,
Yeah, the sticks
he turned them 4 times, and we had hot dogs for Easter that was perfectly cooked. One day for Sunday dinner, he cooked 2 steaks on one of these fire boxes. Not at the same time, but we had steak for Sunday dinner. They can be fun, and but I like to talk to them about emergency preparedness, because that's when you're not going to have power, and you can still burn about anything a match can light. It'll burn.
Yeah, you could even take an old pair of blue jeans, you know, anything that's cotton, and burn it in here. I've cooked using tortilla chips. You know, it's just amazing what will actually burn. I think you could probably cook with dog food because there's so much oil and fat in there that it just burns like crazy. Yeah, that's before you actually have to resort to the dogs themselves.
It doesn't have to be something small on this. I saw him boil 3 quarts of water. I watched him measure the quarts out. He boiled 3 quarts of water. It took him about 20 minutes to boil the water, and then it maintained a boil for another 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 to 40 minutes. That was using a combination of sawdust and wood pellets. So you can pack this whole thing with sawdust and wood pellets, and I put a toilet paper roll in the center, and then the sawdust helps stabilize the wood pellets so they don't fall. So you mix those together.